China holds more United States government debt than anyone. Now the Chinese are speaking up about the budget standoff in Washington. China's government news agency said on Sunday that other countries should, quote, start considering building a de-Americanized world. That commentary suggests the dollar should no longer be the #1 international currency. Mellody Hobson, a CBS News contributor and analyst, joins us now. Mellody, good morning.
Good morning.
So the question is, one, do the Chinese have a likelihood of being able to achieve this over the next several years? And secondly, what would it mean for us if they did?
I don't think it's unlikely. The rhetoric makes sense right now. They're pouncing while the U.S. looks weak on the global stage. They've been very clear about the fact that they don't like the Americanization of the economic system around the globe. They'd like to see the internationalization of that system. I spent last week in China, and it was interesting. Someone told me it would be the century of the Pacific. The 20th century was the century of the Atlantic, and they see the sun continuing to rise in the east and continuing to set in the west. But I think, right now, what they're asking for would be extraordinarily hard to accomplish. So I don't see any consequences for us at this moment. Longer term, different issue.
So what would happen, Mellody, if the U.S. dollar is not the main currency, the main reserve currency? What would that mean?
Well, first of all, I can't see what would replace it. I mean, no currency has the scale or the ease of trading as the U.S. dollar. There's nothing out there. So they've talked about a basket of currencies, that the U.S. dollar would be one of many. The Japanese yen, their own Chinese yuan, you'd have the British pound sterling in there, the euro, exactly. But when you really think about it, that is very hard to accomplish. So then people say, let's go to the euro. Well, it's been somewhat battered post the financial crisis. And they say, well, why not China's currency itself? Well, they're not necessarily the bastions of transparency when it comes to finance. And remember, their currency doesn't float with the rest of the currencies. So there's not a lot of options out there.
Mellody, let me ask you about the story on the front page of the Wall Street Journal today about uneasy investors sell billions of dollars in treasuries. Isn't this one of the most significant consequences of this budget showdown that's happening in Washington?
This is definitely a bad sign. And the reason that I say that, in the worst of the financial crisis, I mean the darkest days, U.S. Treasuries were actually rallying because people were saying the safe place to go is the United States. So in this environment right now, to see people sell their treasuries really does show that we are playing Russian roulette. Our government has to understand we've got to fix this, because at some point we're going to shoot the gun and the bullet is going to kill us. We've got to stop this rhetoric.
Mellody Hobson, good to see you. Thank you so much.